Which one should you do? The Virginia Cut or Dismal Swamp?
We just finished going through the Virginia Cut for our very first time, and we have done the Dismal Swamp twice before.
Once northbound on our loop last year, and then once southbound over the winter. Today we have a short cruise. We're just hopping across the Elizabeth River to Norfolk, to Waterside, which is where we'll be held up for a few days for the Spring Rendezvous.
We have two guests joining us for a very short cruise today. Our guests are Maggie and Bruce on Currently. They just went through the Dismal Swamp route, and we're gonna get their opinion as well. We're Jen, Elliot, and Ollie. In 2019, we booked a one-way flight to Colombia, and after traveling to 11 countries, we were locked down in India for 5 months. Coming back to the US, we decided to pivot into boat life and cruise on a 6,000-mile journey called America's Great Loop. Make sure to subscribe as we share the highs, lows, and everything in between. So the spring lines are off the boat.
Okay.
The only remaining lines are bow and stern, and they're just wrapped around, and then they're tied onto pivot.
Okay, and you see the ferries here?
Yeah, ferry's here.
So you want to go now and then we'll just go around it? Because they'll be here for like 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, we can do just once they dock.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a go. Yeah, stern line first.
I'll let you get up there, get situated. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be great.
It's our motto.
It's gonna be great.
Slower than slow.
Slower than slow.
Slower than slow.
Never do it faster than you want to hit something.
Just remember, neutral is your best friend.
Okay, wheels in the center.
All right.
Now it's quarter turn. All right, yeah, and I'm just bumping it, jockeying.
Yeah. You got your bow thruster on?
Bow thruster's on.
Okay, I'm going to do stern,
Yeah.
forward, and then I'm going to go back to the stern, kind of stay over here.
Yeah, and tell me when it's clear. You guys are here for such a momentous day.
Stern line
is off. It's gonna be great.
Hey, thank you for your video.
Oh, you're welcome.
All lines are off. Bow thruster.
How's the stern looking?
Keep kicking it out. Bye-bye. Bow thruster. Stern is clear.
Okay.
There you go. Bye-bye.
See you later.
You can just cruise out, I think.
Full forward?
Yep.
Keep it in forward?
Yep. Good job.
You did it.
Hey!
High five. There you go. Way to go.
Good job.
Well, I am sweating everywhere. So that's normal. Everything is normal.
That's totally normal.
Yep. There's another boat. Okay.
You want me to take over?
Yep. All right. I'm gonna get the lines ready. Oh, okay.
Well done.
Whew.
Man, you did it.
Nice.
It's so awesome. So exciting.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, me too.
Waterside Marina, Waterside Marina. Pivot 916 over.
Roger that, Pivot. We do have a few vessels ahead of you, so if you could please stand by the wave screen. I'll call you back in on 6-9 when we're ready.
My name is Maggie Tate, and this is my husband, Bruce Tate.
We are on the boat currently, which is a Ranger tug. Yeah, so we also do a little bit of recording ourselves. I teach programmers, and we are from Chattanooga. We left for the loop on January 15th. We left from Chattanooga when it was cold.
Dead of winter. It snowed on us in the locks.
Half the days we had lows below 20. 10 days we had lows below 25. It was crazy.
It was
you guys
really
are troopers.
Cold. It was really cold. We were so happy to get south.
Oh, I bet.
So happy to make it to Gulf Shores.
Oh my gosh, I bet. Well, thanks for coming aboard, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're happy to have y'all here.
All
Saved
right.
ourselves $2 each for the ferry.
That's
Hey,
right.
there we
That's
go.
right.
Elliot and Jen, they're
That's
quality
right.
people.
That's awesome.
Waterside Marina. How far, this is Pivot, how far are we coming into the marina?
You're going to be just by the entrance pivot. You can see me waving at you now.
I see ya. Sounds good, thank you.
You bet, Captain.
You bet. I'm not a captain, but I'll accept it.
I'll take it.
Do you want me to downstairs in case
Sure.
wants a stern line?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or I mean a bow line?
Yeah, Jennifer will tell you.
Port side, right?
Starboard side.
Starboard side? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've ever seen so many loopers together.
I know, ever, right? So many. It's fabulous.
It is.
Slower than slow.
Slower than slow. We're gonna go stern in. I'm not a huge fan of like days like today because like it's hard to get into like the feel of the boat, you know?
Yeah.
It's like such a short cruise.
Yes. Yes.
We are very thankful for this bow thruster.
Yes. Oh gosh, us too.
And great winds today.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect.
Thank you guys for your help.
Absolutely. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You
Should
can lock
be-
it down.
All right.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well done.
Wow.
I want to be you.
You got to see the best, okay? It's not always like this.
Hello. Good to meet you.
She's friendly.
Squeeze by you, Bruce. Docking was a success. It was everybody helping. It made it so much easier. So thanks, Bruce and Maggie, and obviously the dock hands here at Waterside. Bruce and Maggie, you guys just came up the Dismal Swamp Canal. How was it? How did you like it?
I thought it was awesome. I didn't know really what to expect, and it seems like on the Great Loop, all the stuff that I don't really have great expectations for blows it out of the water. We were traveling in it at springtime, and so it was this beautiful spring pea green that was so just refreshing, and then we would see birds, and I'd had the door open so we could hear some of them. I saw an eagle, the closest eagle I've ever seen. We chased a pair of geese for like a mile. They would go a little farther, and then we'd catch up to them, and they'd go a little farther, and we'd catch up to them. But I got some great photographs of the water splashing, and it's really, I think, one of my favorite times of the whole loop.
I think that I'm very much in the same boat because I think that the Dismal Swamp touches my soul in ways, right? So I'm a kayaker in another life.
Yeah.
And so I love the idea of being in these skinny little creek beds and kind of seeing the reflections kind of bouncing right back at you. The light and the pea green was really special. And the other thing that it did for us is we had a noisy, a bit too exciting pass through the Albemarle Sound.
Yeah.
And,
So the Dismal Swamp
it
was a welcome refreshment.
And they kind of pulled up at this welcome center, and it's this sweet little place between. I thought that this was the North Carolina welcome center for the Dismal Swamp. What it was the welcome center, like road stop between North Carolina and Virginia. So you pull up on this thing, you wrapped up. But for us, we didn't have to wrap up at all. There were only 3 boats there. We talked to them, and it was a quiet break from the breaking waves over our bow and stern and really every part from a couple of days before. So it was great.
I did have to send a video of it to my sister because we were the only boat on it when we were going up to the visitor center, and then we were the first boat to leave from the visitor center, and so it was as smooth as glass mirrored reflection. And I sent a video of it to my sister, and I said Dismal Swamp, and she didn't know what it was because she wrote back and was like, well, your video makes it look kind of cool. I'm like, no, it really is awesome. It's called the Dismal Swamp.
It's funny. It's like we had the sound experience, and it wasn't a sound experience.
Yeah.
We felt anything but sound.
Yeah.
And then we had the dismal experience. It was a happy experience.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it was really great. I loved it.
Now, for a lot of people who are concerned about deadheads and logs, was that a concern for you?
All the ones we saw were in the center of the channel, conveniently. And so, but the only thing I would say is that because we were the first boat out and it was smooth and mirrored, occasionally they were kind of hard to see until you were right up on them because the reflections were just so incredible that the mirroring of it made it a little hard. And then you'd see a little brown spot where you thought, I don't see the matched mirror. Right?
I would say to pay
that's a bad
attention to
thing.
those. Yeah, pay attention to the little sticks that are vertical. And the other thing is that it's much better to provide enough space between the boats. So if you can see the boat in front of you, you're probably going too close. The other thing is, I think that if you're going through in a group, very often the little boats will chase the big boats, but I don't think that's what you want to do in the Dismal Swamp. I think that you want the little ones up front, so because their props are further away, they're not moving as much water, and they won't stir up as much. At least we feel that way.
Yeah. We hope that's true.
In the short boat. So
We hope that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks y'all for sharing the Dismal Swamp this year.
You're welcome.
Since Bruce and Maggie gave us their experience in the Dismal Swamp, I figured we'll share with you in so many words what the Virginia Cut was for us.
I honestly went into the Virginia Cut expecting to not like it because I had such positive and fond memories of the Dismal Swamp, but I actually really enjoyed it. I think each section has their own unique beauty to them, and if you can appreciate what each side has to offer, I think you can really enjoy it. Now, the Virginia Cut side was a lot more expansive. It was not nearly as narrow and focused. It was a lot more windy like the rivers, and it was beautiful. You had a lot of grasslands, you had trees. I thought it was pretty. It was just very different pretty than the Dismal Swamp.
Yeah, and there was a lot more to it than I expected. You know, you're still traveling a good ways. There's still a few cities along the way, great free docks, blocks. It's very similar to the Dismal Swamp, but definitely there are some big differences. But I enjoyed going through it this time. I'm glad we did something different and glad we tried it out.
Yeah, me too. We want to share a pro-con list of each side from our perspective of the Dismal Swamp and the Virginia Cut. But before we dive into a pro-con, we're going to go over what both the Dismal Swamp and the Virginia Cut have to offer.
They both have hiking trails available. They both have a lot of historical significance in different ways.
They both have a grocery store within walking distance, and they both have free docks available. And there's quite a few spaces, so it's not just limited to one or two boats. It does hold several on both sides.
There's definitely more options the Dismal Swamp route than there are in the Virginia Cut route, but they both have very solid free docks.
Yeah.
All right, now time for pro cons. The pros for the Virginia Cut, in our point of view, are it's faster. You can go just as fast as you want, really, on those waterways, and you don't have to worry about any real big slowdowns. So if you need to get somewhere fast, it's good for that. The Virginia Cut also has a lot more traffic go through it every year, and so that means it's better maintained. So you know it's going to be safe, and you know there's not going to be anything in the channel you're going to hit. And then finally, there's Quinjock on the route, and Quinjock is something that we passed by, we didn't stop in, but they're famous for their 32-ounce prime rib.
Yeah, we know a lot of other boaters who would enjoy that.
And now for the cons for the Virginia Cut route, and one of the big cons in our point of view is wake. A lot of the waterways are pretty narrow, and people are going fast, so you're going to get waked a lot more than you would the other route.
A lot of the bigger boats go on the Virginia Cut route, which is just fine, as we've had plenty of very kind, courteous, large boat captains pass us, but we also have a lot of not kind and not courteous boats pass us, which give us a lot of wake. So that's just kind of something which leads into some of the pros of the Dismal Swamp route. It's really remote and it's beautiful. You have Highway 17 that goes alongside the Dismal Swamp, but at the northern part you do have a little bit of development in terms of housing and stuff like that, but it is pretty remote, which is really pretty. You have slower travel, so a lot of the boats go very slow in the canal because they don't want to hit a deadhead, or if they do hit it, they want to hit it slowly. And when boats come up and want to pass each other, they're also doing it very, very slowly. So if you prefer a more slower route, that's also a huge pro of the Dismal Swamp. And lastly, you get to visit Elizabeth City on the Dismal Swamp route. We enjoy Elizabeth City. It's
a really cool town. They're nicknamed the Harbor of Hospitality. There's great restaurants, great breweries, a lot of history. It's cool.
Yeah. Now for the negatives of the Dismal Swamp route, there are a lot of deadheads. And you have also 2 locks. So you have 1 lock at the beginning and another lock at the end. And you're also going up a greater amount of height in that lock. So comparing it to the Virginia Cut route, you go up maybe a foot, maybe even just sometimes I think it's 6 inches. It's dependent upon the tide. But in the Dismal Swamp, you're going up about 8 feet. And some people may want that practice with locking, other people may not, but it is what it is.
We have a few decision makers, and these are basically scenarios that kind of would force you one way or another. And one of them is if you have a larger vessel and you're extremely worried about the deadheads, you might have some exposed propellers where if you hit one you could damage it and cause a lot of damage. If that's the case, you're going to want to go the Virginia Cut route.
Yeah.
If you need to go somewhere fast, like you're making a delivery instead of having a trip, you just need to make some miles, you're going to want to do the Virginia Cut route because you can go faster. And then finally, if you don't really like wakes and you're worried, then the Dismal Swamp route is the route for you.
Yeah. But to be completely honest, each option is great. They have their pros and their cons, and it's completely up to the captain of the boat.
Exactly. So we've done both now, and if you asked us which one we prefer for our style, knowing the pro cons, knowing the decision makers, we prefer the Dismal Swamp.
Yeah. We have just enjoyed ourselves. We've gone through it northbound, we've gone through it southbound, and we like it. We like the slow pace, we like the mirrored effect that you have with the trees and the water and this like absolute still like glass look. We like the more free dockage available. We love free docks.
The other thing that makes the Dismal Swamp route better for us is most people leave to go either the Virginia Cut or Dismal Swamp from Belhaven. It's like the last town before you cross the Albemarle and you get to either Elizabeth City or Coinjock. But for us, as a trawler, we move very slow. So it's over 70 miles to go from Belhaven to Elizabeth City or Coinjock. And we like free docks, and Elizabeth City has free docks. So we could go from Belhaven to Elizabeth City, but we can't go from Belhaven to the free docks at the lock in Great Bridge and for the Virginia Cut, because that's just too far. So that's another reason why we prefer the Dismal Swamp route.
Yeah.
On a faster boat, it really doesn't matter. And also, if you time your trip, it might not matter because we left from the Tuckahoe Point anchorage on the Alligator River, and we were able to make we didn't make the free docks, but we made it pretty close to it. And we could have made the free docks if we really wanted to push it. But
yeah,
it's just, that's another thing to consider.
Yeah. And I think the last thing that really tips the scale for us too is that there's a lot more options for trails and getting out to exercise, getting walks in, getting a run, people who have bikes on the loop. There's a lot more of that available on the Dismal Swamp route. You have paved routes northbound of the Dismal Swamp Welcome Center. You also have trail routes that go down to the South Mills Lock route. And thirdly, you also have trails across in the state park, the North Carolina State, like Dismal Swamp State Park, and there's trails there. So you just have a lot of opportunity to get out and get exercise, get into nature, and it's just really nice. Whereas the Virginia Cut route, you really only have like that kind of once available, but the Virginia Cut route is really nice.
Yeah. So if you've done either two, or if you've done your research, let us know which one you prefer in the comments below.
Yeah. Or if you have other pros and cons about each side that we've maybe missed, please let us know.
Yeah. And we are here at the rendezvous. We've already met so many loopers. We took Ollie for a good walk after Maggie and Bruce left, and yeah, it's going to be a fun few days. We're going to make one video about the looper rendezvous here this spring, and we'll be sharing that with you later, probably the next video, so stay tuned for that.
Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous about you, Maggie. There. It's like you forgot my name or something.
I was kind of waiting for you to say, Bruce Tate. Your boat's so smooth, too. It's really nice.
You guys got great conditions for us, though. Not always.
Loving it. Perfect. Couldn't be better.
Virginia Swamp. Swamp.
Virginia Swamp.